Broadcasting way too early from 3 separate Wi-Fi connections. It's PT Breakfast Club with Tony Maritato, Dave Kittle, and Jimmy McKay.
All right, good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to PT Breakfast Club, the only morning show where physical therapists, clinic owners, and rehab rebels gather twice a week to talk about the business of keeping humans moving. I actually wrote down a note from last episode, so I actually know what we're talking about today, which is rare. That's a lie. I just went back to the transcript of the last episode and asked ChatGPT what the hell we were talking about. Today, we're digging into the big business idea that came out of last show. How do you spot the $70,000 patient while they're still sitting there as the $250 patient? Because the truth is, some patients come in for 6 visits and disappear, and that's okay. Others stay with your clinic, your business, for years. They bring their spouse, they tell their coworkers, they bring their kids' soccer coach.
Yep.
Time they become the people who generate the most revenue and the most referrals. Here's the twist. Every clinic only has 3 ways to make money. I want to reiterate this. This is one of my most watched videos on YouTube. Remember, you can find more people to help. We focus on that one a lot, I think, Dave Kittle. Find more people. We need more people. Schedules.
The industry does, yes.
Find more people. Get more people. There are only two other ways to do it. Help the same people more often. Help the same people that you found with more things. That's it. I want to simplify it. I got so many great comments from that little reel that I made on my back deck last summer. I got to reshare that thing. But before we kick in, how are we doing today?
I'm great. I know we're talking about client payments. We're talking about money. I got my green polo money shirt on, ready for this.
See, you think about your outfit. I pick what is physically closest.
Oh, not usually, but today I did.
Okay. We are one Tony light. He will be back next week. He's running some sort of business, which he's got there in Ohio. Oh, PT practice. That's right. He's probably got us on in the background. He's probably teaching his patient the lessons that we're looking at today. So today we're actually asking, can you identify those patients? This was prompted by last episode, Dave, where you talked about this one patient who, I mean, you said, and it wasn't a flex. It's just, let's talk about real numbers. This person has generated 70 grand over the last couple of years and has the means, sees the value. And after they give you money and get this, they are happy. They don't have to come back. This isn't a stick up. Right? Nope. They understand the price. They're not surprised.
They want more.
They want mo. So the question is, how do you identify those patients early? And if you can, what should you do differently once you spot them? We also want to make sure that this, and Tony pointed out in the group chat before the show, he's busy running his insurance-based practice, or mostly insurance-based practice. This works for both. This is not just for concierge pain relief clinics of the world. This is human psychology. This is human psychology plus human economics. So let's get this going. Do you want to make sure that we get paid? Because if you're going to run a podcast, you have to make sure you get paid for your sponsors. So today, our sponsor is the Range of Motion-O-Matic. This episode brought to you by Rama-Matic, the world's first automatic range of motion training device. All you have to do, Dave, is strap your patient in, set the dial to, it actually says full send. I don't know. And let the Range of Motion-O-Matic and Rama-Matic do the stretching for you. Tight shoulders, Range of Motion-O-Matic. Frozen hips, Rama-Matic. Ankles that move like concrete, Ram-O-Matic, no problem. The Rama-Matic gently, repeatedly, and occasionally aggressively moves the joints through ranges they haven't seen since 1997. Rama-Matic, because if it clicks, it's probably working. Go to ramomatic.com. What do you think of the graphic there, Dave? I told it to give me 1990s infomercial vibes. How does that look?
I think it's pretty on target. I was going to say late 80s, 90s. Yeah. Perfect.
Infomercials. Perfect. All right. So that's the Ramo-Matic. That's what we're dealing with. Today. Okay.
Set it, and the headline or the sub headline there, set it and regret it. Which is hilarious. Set it and regret it.
You'd regret not owning this piece of equipment. Look at that red button. Like, it just looks like a Commodore 64. Kids, a Commodore 64 is like a PlayStation, but bad. Okay. So some patients come in for 6 visits, pain relief, discharge, gone forever. Some stay connected to your clinic for years. If you've run a clinic or you worked in a clinic, you know these people. Call them frequent flyers. I call them people who help you keep a clinic afloat. how do you spot them? Right now, there's the $1 million question. 10 years from now, you can look back at the data, but how do you spot them preemptively? And would you do something differently? We had Ben call in, and we'll put the phone number up on the screen in case people want to call in and give suggestions, or you can drop comments. We have some comments coming in. I'll put them on the screen about some suggestions of what to do with people like this, like sort of a reward, right? You come in often. I mean, I used to live in South Carolina. The restaurant manager saw me and my dad coming, and we're like, those guys, cheesecake all the time, free cheesecake. Those guys are great. What are you guys drinking tonight? Cheesecake. That made us feel something, right? John Taffer talks about this all the time. I love it. We'll dig into that too.
There are just as a teaser, as a little hook. I know we're kind of into the show already, but there are what I've seen, certain diagnoses or conditions or certain avatars, certain type of clients, certain types of services that you're delivering that tend to want to spend more over time and stay with you as opposed to not. Some of them I think are obvious. Some of them are a little less obvious. We can get into it a little later.
I think we should start with that, because how do you spot these people from, how do you do it? And then we're going to have from some celebrity insights from some professionals in different worlds of marketing and psychology. But what do you do, if anything? How do you do this? I never thought about this when I was in a clinic. This never dawned on me because I was a staff clinician and I was just excited to have a person in front of me. Great.
Well, so first of all, disclaimer: we're not treating anyone differently than anyone else, right? We're not picking and choosing. It's not like I'm going to treat like someone who's like Tony Maritato any different than Jimmy McKay if we were treating both of them. We're not going to treat them any different. However,
right.
Typically, if someone is going to spend $15,000-$20,000 a year or something like that with us, and they're spending, or they've spent $20,000 or $30,000 total over whatever amount of time or more, typically it's someone who's older. They have some amount of discretionary income, or we've had this situation where it's someone who's also usually older. So it's, in general, like the older someone is, the more that they are investing in their health and wellness. They care more about longevity. They care more about going from episodic physical therapy to, oh, you know what? I want to keep you around. And then that physical therapist is now like a combination of physical therapist, health coach, personal trainer, for lack of a better word, wellness, performance training, lifestyle modifications, all of that wrapped into one person. And it's kind of like, okay, well, you got me out of the episodic neck pain or back pain, whatever it might be. And now I would like for you to continue, week by week. And then it just kind of continues over time. Now there's like usually smaller goals set up in between. Like the client wants to be able to walk outside and get safely in and out of an Uber or a cab or something like that. And then it's like, I want to be able to get back to getting the newspaper or walking to a friend's or shul or church or whatever, like the socialization point is in the neighborhood. Then that's the goal. Or get to Central Park, first of all. Then it's walk up the steps at the reservoir. And then it's walk around the Jacqueline Onassis Reservoir in Central Park. So it's like, it's a type of person too, that like they're motivated. We're hitting incremental goals over time. And they just are like, okay, well, obviously I like and know and trust this person. They helped me with the last goal or two. And it's like, I might as well just keep them around to continue this. Then it's getting them back to golfing in their, putting in their living room. And then it's getting back to the golf simulator to chip. And then it's getting back into the golf simulator to drive the ball, not just chipping, but, driving and ripping off the tee. So those are the types of folks. Condition wise, it's usually some combination of balance, gait, it's some neurological conditions typically, but not always. Sometimes it's someone who had a hospitalization, and then we're seeing them initially when they're like coming out of they're like the first week home from a hospitalization or a big procedure, like a brain surgery, a heart surgery, a total joint, spine surgery, or it was a fall. So those are the types of folks. It's usually not a 20-year-old that has an ankle sprain, though. For us, like, I'm not saying this does not work for everyone. So a 20-year-old with an ankle sprain is not most likely, even in New York City, not going to spend $10, $20, $50, $70,000 with us typically.
So I'm going to do avatars because this is best guess, right? There's no magic question, but questions can be magic. So I'm going to break it down to the 3 avatars. I sat here in my coffee this morning and I said, how would I look for these people? The third one I'll give you is very counterintuitive. And it made me go, I wouldn't have thought that, but now looking at it, I did. So that's number 3 is counterintuitive. Number 1 is the identity builder. You touched on it a second ago. I just want to put a name to it. The identity builder is I'm a runner. They have an identity built in. I am a runner. Hi, I'm Jimmy. I'm a runner. I can't run right now. That's not okay. Those 2 things are not in alignment. So I can't run. I'm looking at you. Can you help me run? I need to go with you, through you, to you.
And currently right now, I can't run.
Or I can't run.
All I want to do is get back to running. Or golf or whatever it is.
You spot that person, and I want to make sure we have tactical things. So this is what you should look for. I want to play Chris Voss now. Listen for things like, I'm working on this. And then they're watching you. I'm working on that. I'm doing this now. I bought this thing. I changed my shoes. And they're looking for what are you going to tell me about? They're
validation or they
questioning.
Or to shut something down.
Yes. They're putting this there. And at first, you might look at that as they're confronting me. What a lot of the times what they're doing is they're going, I'm doing this. What are your thoughts on that? That's how some people interact. That's how I interact. So I'm doing this. Here I am. My foot. You've seen my Rama-matic, and it's not good. I bought this thing on the internet. What do you think? They're not questioning you. They're not questioning you or your knowledge or science. They're going, I'm doing this.
You think they want our input?
Yes. Underrated, overrated. You should play underrated, overrated with your patients.
There we go.
Scheme. That's great because that's really what they're looking for. Insight. So I'm working on this. What do you think about that? I'm trying to stay ahead of this injury. They're coming in with wherever they are, they're at a 2 and they're like, I don't want this to get to an 8 because in my brain, 8 means I stop running. I am a runner.
Yes.
This is we're at a 2. I don't want a 4 because an 8 means I stop running. So they're asking questions that might sound like they're challenging you. They're not. They're not. They begin to see themselves as someone who invests in their body. That's an identity builder. I'm a runner. This is what I do. And if this keeps going, I won't be able to do that. And then what am I? So that's the first avatar, the identity builder. The second, this one is very obvious. The third I'll get to is counterintuitive. This one is obvious in my mind, the referrer. Some people like to be connectors. I am a connector. That's part of my identity. I built a Facebook group, Dave, you know this. And the name of the Facebook group is PT to PT referrals. That's the gag. It costs you $0. I got tired of seeing people in other Facebook groups all over the place going, hey, I got a patient who's moving to Dayton, Ohio. Anybody know someone? I was like, this is a common question. I'm going to create a Facebook group. Now that's the only thing you're allowed to do in it. I kick you out if you post crap that isn't that. I like being
that group, by the way, has made me I told you before, I think I've made $10,000 or $20,000 in top line revenue from that group.
Fantastic.
From referrals.
But here's what I found.
From people that probably wouldn't have found me any other way.
All I care about is someone found someone else who's good. The right person in less time who's good. That's all I care about. So avatar number 2 is the referrer. They send you a spouse, a coworker, a buddy, a friend. They like to be the person in the office when someone's like, my back's really, it's like, oh, I got a guy, his name's Dave. He hooked me up good. That person, hug that person. When a random person comes in, you're like, and you should be asking, hey, how'd you hear about us, man? Was it the Google box? Was it AI? What'd you get? Was it the park bench that Dave's advertising on like this? No. My buddy Steve, he's in my office downtown. He told me to come see you. Great. I don't know, man. Maybe in your EHR, the guy who sent us likes Starbucks, old fashions, whatever. Hey, man, thanks. Appreciate that. Little like a $20. I see you. Man. At that point, you're not just their clinician. They've got you on speed dial. You're their trust. You're my guy. If somebody has a car problem in my town, I'm like, Justin, don't go to anybody. Go to Justin. Just Justin. Why? Because I trust him. That's what you're looking for. So that's avatar 2.
By the way, that type of person, that's the connector that someone else in the office says that they have back pain. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, you have to go see Tony Meritato. He's the best I know he doesn't really like back pain, but if he traded back pain like he used to, oh man, you got to go see Tony Meritato. He's great. the person that is making the referral, that's putting themselves out there and saying like, you got to go see my guy, Tony Maritato, there is some status around that. Like their ego gets boosted because they have the intel that the other person, they have some secret information, which is, I have this great physical therapist that is as excellent, or like they don't really advertise because they don't need to, and they do something special, right? Whether it's like, for us, like sometimes it's like high profile people or celebrities or whatever, sometimes, or whatever. And Tony, it might be like, you know, someone could say, you got to go see Tony Maritato because he's like the most popular knee replacement physical therapist on Facebook and YouTube. He gets millions of views. I went to him. Don't even balk it. Just go. Oh. And now that person gets validation. They feel better about themselves because they know that they helped, and they know that Tony's not going to let them down and make them look bad.
Yes. Yes. They trust you so much. They can't wait to be. And it's also part of them. These people don't do it for like a referral payment. They don't. I did this yesterday. I won't say with who, but I was like, hey man, we got on a call and I was like, oh, I think I know like 3 people that can help you. I don't know if they will, but like from what you just told me, call these 3 people, or hey, I'll email them and CC you on it. Is that cool? And they were like, you'll do that for us? I'm like, yes, I like being helpful. Look for these people. Those are the referrers. The third avatar. This sounded counterintuitive. This sounded opposite. And then I realized it was my own emotion keeping it out. The question asker. This is different than the identity builder. They are also asking questions, but this person at first feels more combative with it. Like you might be like, well, why is this person is testing me? You as the clinician might feel this person is testing me. They're not. So they're asking things like, why does this keep happening? What should I be doing long-term? How do I prevent this? They might feel a little spicier questions or more or rapid fire than just the identity builder, right? The identity builder is talking about them. I'm a runner. What should a runner be doing? Where the question asker is like, why does this happen? Why do people get this? Like they're asking broader questions. This sounds like they're questioning you as a clinician. They're not. They are the question asker. They want understanding, not just treatment. Here's the thing. If you keep playing a game of tennis with them, the goal is not slam the ball and get it past them and win the goal is not
just ping pong it.
Let's get it to the other side. The goal is not put the 78-page CPG in front of him and be like, I'm doing this because of page 26, 28, and 29. That's not a win. The goal is not to win against the question asker. The goal is answer their questions. Every time you answer a question and they're satisfied, and they might Google it and be like, oh yeah, he's right.
Oh, he's right. Yeah.
Every time you do that, it's another brick that you're building in this castle of trust. I'm using metaphors today. Tony would love this. They go from, this is their journey. They go from curiosity to ownership to adherence to long-term relationship. The question asker is harder to win over. The game is not slam the ball by them. The game is just keep going with them. If you don't know, do not fake it with the question asker. Everything's gone if they find out you're lying or making something up. Be truthful in the long game over and over with a question asker, and then that person will become a long-term relationship. So those are 3. There are probably more avatars, but those are the three that I came up with as I was sitting here this morning thinking about them. Ben is saying, you have to get them in like same day and don't. Oh yeah. I think he was saying this with, if someone like, if I'm like, oh, my guy's Tony, you got to go see Tony. Like if someone calls and says, hey, Tony said I should come see you. I think that's what Ben is responding to. You got to get them in because you have to like now make it look like Jimmy sent me here. Jimmy sent you? I'll get you right in. Don't worry about it. Let me open this side door. Don't come in the front door. That's for everybody. You're going to go in the side. I got use this code, go in the side door. Yes, agreed, Ben. And that costs you nothing. That costs you maybe rearranging your schedule a little bit, which sucks a little bit. It's a little bit. It's worth it. He's right.
So the thing, yes, we absolutely pride ourselves in being prompt. We want to get someone in the same day, just like Ben said.
Yeah.
The challenge for practice owners and business owners, at least for me out there, is that I am not trying to have any more new patients. So sometimes I'll get a referral and it'll be like someone who already had my phone number, right? So they send me a text and they'll send like a joint text intro without even a heads up sometimes, or it's an email intro or whatever. Or someone calls or texts my personal phone number, which is fine because that means the existing clientele felt comfortable enough to share my information, and I probably said at some point it's okay to do that or whatever. And then when that person says, "Oh, I get a phone call or a text from Tom," and Tom's like, "Oh man, Anthony said you're the best, and he knows you and all that, and I have back pain or whatever." So for me, it's like I'll handle it, but I'll have to let them know right up front that it's not going to be me treating them. Because I'm trying to grow the practice. I'm trying to grow the business. Yeah. So the thing what Ben said is I do pawn them off to another PT because I'm saying I'm not treating that area anymore. Yeah, Dr. Andrew or whoever is treating that area.
You shouldn't say that. Rory Sutherland would tell you not to say that. They would say, "Hey man, I got you. You're doing low back. Oh, I got to be honest with you though. I'm pretty good at back. I got a new guy on my team though. Just stole him from a practice across town. This guy's elite at backs. I'm going to put you with him if that's cool." Do you know what I mean? Stupidly dumb. Rory Sutherland's all about the framing. We'll get to that because I'll bring in some celebrities. But yes, exactly. But you never say him no. You just keep the red carpet thing. "Hey, I don't have a table." It was great, right? Well, all these movies jumble together, but like Casino, all the gangster movies jumble together, right? Because they're all kind of the same vibe. But it was like, "Oh, we don't have a table," and then all of a sudden they put like this tiny table in this like awkward spot, but now it's cool. Why? Because there was no table. We made a table. It's a crappy table. No, it's elite. No one can get that. You can't walk in and get that. You ever been backstage at a concert before?
I haven't, but I'm sure you have.
It's the crappiest place to watch a concert. It sounds the worst. It's the status of being there because no one else is there. There's hundreds, thousands, whatever people in the crowd, and there's a handful or dozens of people back there that all have badges that have the access. When I got back there, I could not wait. I'm like 19 years old. I'm like, I'm going backstage at a legit concert. It's gonna be great. And I'm back there, and it smells, and there's just crap everywhere because that's where they keep all the cases for all the equipment. And I'm like, "Where's the lounge?" And they're like, "I don't know. What lounge are you talking about, dude? This is backstage." I'm like, "Holy crap, this place sucks." But yes, that's why it was cool. Fun fact, if you want to experience the concert the best, if you're buying concert tickets, here's your life hack. Look on the little map, sit close. If you can figure out where the soundboard is, sit as close to the soundboard as possible. The person twisting the knobs and making the whole concert sound great is doing it from that location. It's not always in the center, but it should be. Sit as close to the soundboard as possible. That's zero. It's ground zero. And Dave's saying, but that is still Ben is saying, but that is still some of your mystique and shtick. It's a purposeful barrier. Yes, you are the speakeasy in the back of the taco shop. That would be a great duo. I would go to a speakeasy in a taco shop. Two of my favorite things.
I gotta take you in the city. You know the place real quick. Oh my gosh, there's a hot dog place. A little hot dog in like the Village in Manhattan.
Okay.
You know, like the little places like down a few steps, like from the sidewalk down a few steps.
Yep.
And it's oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the hot dog place. Criff Dog hot dogs. And inside there, you go through a phone booth and it's a speakeasy.
There's one that's in a laundromat. Like you have to it's like the third dryer from the left, and then you have to put like 50 cents in and twist the dial left, not right, and then the whole thing opens.
Wow.
And then you step through and it's like a disco. It's stuff like that. That's just like the experience. Did you know there's a bar inside Grand Central, like a hidden bar inside Grand Central Terminal?
Yeah.
It's like it's the station master. It used to be the station master's apartment. And I went there once, and like, believe me, drinks are like $28. But you're like, this is dope. Like everything's marble. So you go,
we'll go for one drink.
What would you like? We'd like a vodka soda. And what would you like? No, we're splitting that. We're gonna have that. Can we have that in 2 glasses?
and the bill.
Check right now, please. Dope, right? But that's part of the shtick. You can't come. That's why it's cool. So those are the 3 avatars I would say to look out for. None of this is magic. Do not judge people by their clothing or what they do for a living. If someone's like, "I'm a plumber," I'm like, "My man, You own a plumbing company. That doesn't stop thinking that way. Stop thinking that way, right? Don't think.
So let me double click on this. So of course we have some folks that are ex attorneys, like they were partners, they were in big firms, they have big apartments in Manhattan, they're on Fifth Ave, they're on Park Ave. Yes, of course, those are the identity builder folks. Yes, it's fairly obvious to observe as soon as we get the street address, if we're doing home visits, or even if they're coming to our office, but from the paperwork we know their we know their home address, so we know where they live. So we kind of know, like, based off of where they live, let's be honest, like in Manhattan, based off of where you live, you kind of can make some of those assumptions, right? However, I had someone in a neighborhood in Brooklyn that is not like the wealthiest or nicest. The thing is that they were spending like 35K a year with us, but it was the sons and daughters that were paying for it. And there were like 8 or 9 sons and daughters. So it was probably spread out across them. And that was a little less of not even any of those avatars, just kind of like maybe a little around identity, but it wasn't like the obvious one, like the attorneys that we have that are, 60, 70, 80 years old. Yeah. So, but for us, at least, our experience is that most of our clients that spend tens of thousands of dollars with us, 70,000. Did you hear the story? I put on my Dave Kittle show before that we had this ex-pharmaceutical ex-pharmaceutical executive several years ago, and they were doing like 7 days a week PT. They were mixing in some soft tissue work, massages, but the massages were delivered by our physical therapist at the physical therapy rate. And that guy spent, this is on you guys can go check this on my YouTube. This is another humble brag, but that guy was spending like 150K a year for a couple years in a row. Just one client. There was a lot of coordination on my side because I'm coordinating. Obviously, I wasn't doing 7 days a week in Manhattan. So
service, dude.
It was multiple therapists. I was coordinating everything, all the continuity of care stuff, helping them with like DME, durable medical equipment, and different like safety things. I helped them install like grab bars. I didn't do it, but like in terms of like finding the best grab bars and the positioning and location of them and all that.
You keep saying you didn't do it, but like it wouldn't have gotten done without a couple. Like if you're the originator, the facilitator, the installer, it don't get done. I need it done. Half done isn't done. 3/4 done isn't done. 89% done isn't done. And you don't get your posture fixed unless you use Posture Corrector 3000. Fixed your posture.
This is the same guy. This is the same actor.
Yeah, he's not an actor. He's a presenter. He's a professional product presenter. Fix their posture, whether they like it or not. Posture Corrector 3000, the revolutionary wearable device that automatically buzzes, beeps, and mildly shames you. If you slouch, bad desk posture, bzz, text neck, beep, 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 rounded shoulders, it plays a recording of your PT saying, chest up, shoulders back. You know better. Now with public accountability mode, which loudly announces posture failure detected. Posture Corrector 3000, because awareness is half the battle. Humiliation is the other half. Find us online at posturecorrector3000.org. It's always a .org because they can't afford a .com because they're not selling enough units. They're not hustling hard. All right, so let's go strategic twist. Halfway through the show, now we bring in the celebrity guests. This is how you keep people watching the live stream. So the question is, how would other big, beautiful minds think of this? So I brought in, through the power of AI, I said, what would people like Gary Vee or Seth Godin or Rory Sutherland or Chris Voss or Chris Do about those things? And here's what they said. Now, this is going off their avatar, like the Chris Voss avatar. Chris Voss, famously the former FBI hostage negotiator turned book writer and, I don't know, strategic advisor to companies. Chris Voss would uncover the real fear behind the injury. Ooh. Chris Voss, of course, would say, if you have 10 hostages in a bank, I can't just be like, oh, I guess we'll split the difference. So Chris Voss is saying, talk to the person more, find out the real fear behind the injury. Do that. get into that. And if you get to their real fear, Oprah said people want to be seen, heard, and understood. Chris Voss, of the same ilk. If you can see me, hear me, understand me, I will stay with you, because finding another person like you is a pain in the ass and expensive. Rory Sutherland was the director of Ogilvy, one of the largest advertising firms on the planet. This is where the reframe comes in a second ago when I told you not to say that, but to say this. Rory Sutherland, that's where I stole that from Rory Sutherland. He would say, don't say I'm not providing the treatment, saying I am going to step out of the way because I have the best back person and I'm going to slide you into them and you'll be appreciative and it'll feel like a yes and not a no but. Rory would say reframe physical therapy from repair to optimization. Rory would say you never discharge. Rory would be one of those people who'd say don't discharge. He would say we're going to now continue to make sure you are hardy for life. Thoughts on Rory, thoughts on Chris so far? Chris Voss and Rory Sutherland.
The thing that Chris Voss, you mentioned, I feel like I know I have done historically, and I hope I need to be coaching my therapist better if I'm not already, but definitely we talk about it in terms of because from the Chris Voss angle, the patient, our clients, they don't care about your therapeutic exercise, your what type of manual therapy, mobilization of the shoulder or the back or the gait training, or they just care about getting back to what they want to get back to. So a lot of times it's like we have with home visits and on-demand visits, like we have some people that like don't want to do gait training or walking in their hallway because they don't want their neighbors to see them look vulnerable. They want to stay in their apartment. So sometimes the apartments are big enough where that makes sense. And okay, that's fine. But it's always best to have like a better runway, right? So why wouldn't we use the hallway or even like the lobby? But then the lobby is you might be seen by other neighbors and the doorman who historically you had a higher quote unquote status over the doorman. Like it's just these unspoken things. Now all of a sudden you're in a wheelchair or you're in a walker and you're looking vulnerable, you're looking lesser than. If you can speak to how your treatment approach, your service will get them back to walking, if it's possible. Obviously it depends on the client, it depends on their prognosis, their situation, their motivation, it depends on all that. But can you lay out a game plan, a treatment plan that's going to focus around the things that they really care about? So it's like, I didn't even do a great job at this with this particular client that we're anonymously talking about that spent $73,000 with us recently, like over almost in the last year and a half or whatever. But it was kind of like episodic, like, all right, you came out of hospital, like, let's get you moving. Let's check your vitals. Let's observe your vitals all the time. Then it was like, okay, that's better. That's stable. Your vitals are stable with walking. Now let's work on your balance and endurance. And then once that got better, then it was like walking outside. And then once that got better, it was walking, my other therapist was with him and walking him in the park and around the reservoir. And then it was, he wanted to get back into the golf simulator. Right. So there was like all these incremental steps. Now we might have through osmosis, through just being there or whatever, like might have given him enough reassurance. And we probably didn't do a good enough job. But if we had laid out those things up front, like, hey, what are your goals? I need to ask you more questions. What would you want to get back to, assuming that you're medically cleared and stable and you're ready at those times? And he probably would have said, well, I want to get back to golf. I initially was with this guy treating him in 2024, and we were putting in his living room about 4 weeks out of open heart surgery. Putting, I mean, it's pretty low effort, but that was something that he cared about. Yes, we were doing a little bit of, static or dynamic balance. So there's definitely clinical things there that we're actually hitting on. So it was kind of like leading them like, okay, you want to get back to golfing. And then we need to go to the golf simulator to eventually in the coming weeks or months to work on, chipping at like 50% effort or whatever. And then it's like increasing the exertion. And then it's, when can we do some driving the ball off the tee at the golf simulator? Those types of things. It's like laying out like, okay, what is important to you? Why do you care about those things? And when might we be able to get there? And what do we need to do to get there? And obviously part of it to get him there or to get them there is the accountability of, we have these visits and we need to do these sessions and we need to do, do whatever. Initially it was 4 times a week, and then it was 3. And, maybe these days it's kind of like 2 times a week or whatever, but that's how I would lay out that whole Chris Voss thing. It's like finding out what they really care about, laying out a plan and goals that align with their expectations.
Keep making sure they understand, just like the Domino's pizza tracker, where they are in this. Hey, we've had a setback. What does that mean? How far back? Like, make sure it's clear. I do have an update. I just got an email from our sponsors. This doesn't happen very often. So the sponsors from the Posture Corrector 3000, they are already on Amazon. Like, look at, bang, we're already selling units. Shout out to Ben Galen for saying we are 2 for 2 on making.
There's no way that sells a lot. Is there the little line which says like how many are sold? 1,000. Okay, but this is usually globally or nationally. 1,000 bought in the last month.
1,000 bought in the last month, man. It's 3.8. People are buying this. I know. Look, and all it is a little dot thing. My Posturematic at least looked legit. It was like this back harness thing. This one's just
90s legit.
This is, what is it? How much is it? I don't want to ask freaking Rufus. Get off the price. $69. Would you pay $69 to look that happy with this apparatus?
It's ridiculous.
We should start buying these things. We should start buying these things and reviewing them as PTs, and just be like, it's cost of goods is the $69. We'll get more off the YouTube revenue. This is what Tony does. He just buys this stuff. He's like, I'll make 15 videos.
No, these companies send these products to Tony. He doesn't buy them all the time.
We could get these guys to send us one.
Oh yeah, of course. I thought you said buy it though.
Oh, I just meant for faster. I'll fire these guys an email and see if they want us to do. I'll wear it during the show and have it, and I'll patch my audio boards whenever Jimmy's beep 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 beep.
I'm getting buzzed.
Now, my product suggestion for this: could you get Samuel L. Jackson to lend his voice to the prompts? Yo, mother, your posture sucks. Oh, mother, that would be.
Check your posture.
Check your posture. Gotta get this posture off this mother loving train. All right, that's Chris Voss and Rory Sutherland. Seth Godin would go a different direction, of course. How do you find the $70,000 patient while they're still $2,000 in? Seth Godin would say, build a movement tribe and identity groups. I feel like a lot of clinics do this one. But some people might think this is the flip. Well, if this person's in a group class, they don't want to spend as much. I don't think that's true. Here's my proof. You might say, well, I'll just join a gym and a class because that's cheaper. But if the goal of you is to be being around people, that is of value. Here's my twist. And you've seen this in New York. You have to have seen this in New York. Do you see those idiots out there wearing spandex suits, riding bicycles? I can say they're idiots because I am one of you. I got the spandex.
Everyone in Central Park that are cyclists, yeah.
Those bikes they're not cheap, my friends. Some of them are
very expensive. Very expensive.
New ones, guys, those aren't cheap. And some people do ride alone. Some people ride in groups. A lot of people will ride both, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays I ride by myself. Saturday, that's my day. I get out there. I ride across the George Washington Bridge. I find another bunch of other nut jobs who also have spandex, and we ride together. We pretend we're in the Tour de France. We're not. So Seth Godin would say build movement tribes around identity groups. This is sort of the opposite of what Dave provides. I still think you could still, if you had 3 or 4 like high value clients at Concierge Pain Relief in New York City, you could be like, I'm trying something new. We're going to do a group workout just for runners. You'd fit in this group. That's what you'd be saying to your patient. You'd fit. I got 3 other guys that are sort of like your level 2, similar speeds, similar times. I'm thinking about doing one group workout every week. What are your thoughts? That is an upsell, right? We started this office episode saying the street. You find more people, you could bring them back more often, or you can give them something different to buy, and that is an upsell. Selling things is not a bad thing. That would be something that Seth Godin would say, build a thing around an identity. That would be cool.
So for us, the folks that have spent the most overtime out of pocket. It's home visits.
Yes.
I think it's a lot more challenging, convenience.
Yep.
I think it's a lot more challenging for a brick and mortar. And I would be curious, anyone else watching or listening, any of the cash practices out there, it's maybe it's tens of thousands, or maybe it's 10, 20, 5, 10, 20 grand over 2 or 3 years or something, going to your brick and mortar office if they like keep buying packages and renewing, and you have premium rates and all that type of stuff. Like, what was that comment just now that I know it wasn't, not Michael Gorman, but iMove. Yeah. Craig Lee has a franchise through iMove, through Michael Gorman's iMove PT. So like, I would be curious, like with Craig or Michael, like, I know for sure Michael has the brick and mortar. I think maybe Craig is 100% mobile, but anyone that has a brick and mortar office, I would be curious anonymously, like what is not that it's a contest, but like, what's the highest out of pocket, the lifetime value of your highest paying client out of pocket who has come to a brick and mortar office? I would be curious, like what that number is. Again, it's not that big of a deal. We're going to treat everyone the same. We're just talking about some of the like business mechanics around delivering your service to probably your ideal customer, right?
I said this to a friend who had a clinic in a small town, and I said, do a run club. He's like, there's a lot of effort. And I go, is it? Get somebody on your staff who likes to run and be like, part of your job, 2 hours a week, is to go stand in a parking lot at the head of a run trail, and no one's going to show up the first week, or one random person is going to show up the first week. And you have to hit the tennis ball back over the net. People like us, this is what Seth Godin would say, people like us do things like this. We show up every single week. I did this with Leukemia and Lymphoma Society team in training. I was a participant for years, then I became a coach. And people who wanted to be runners but weren't runners are like, we show up at what time on Saturdays? We're like 6 a.m. And they're like, I might come 50% of the time. A couple weeks in, they're there every week. Why? Status. Hey man, where were you, bro? We missed you. You don't want that. So at 5:30, you open your eyes and you go, I don't want to take the social shaming, and I still want to be this thing. I either am or I'm not. The thing with runners or cyclists or anything is you are that. Like I could say I'm a triathlete, but Jimmy hasn't done a race in a couple of years because life. So that starts gnawing at me. Like, am I still a triathlete? I did one years ago. I don't know if I can say that. But if you like every Saturday we show up, we do a group workout, like that seems lower stakes. I value that. Where is that? So that's how Seth Godin would approach turning the $10,000 patient into a $70,000 patient.
This is 100 real quick. This is about tribes. This is 100% possible. I just sent you on Facebook, a DM on Facebook. Okay. I don't know if it'll load, but if you wanted to share it, this group training place here in Brooklyn called Badass Academy. God. They are shoulder to shoulder packed in. And guess where this originally started? In someone's house.
Think of
where it would. So it was outside. I won't string you along enough. It started for free outside in a park years ago. Because you said start a run club and like maybe no one shows up, right?
Yep.
So it's like they started building a tribe, a community of following. It was free outside in a park. Now there's basically no space to do anything. Like there are so many. And by the way, it was not this busy before COVID. They've been around for, I don't know, at least 10 years, maybe 15 years or something total since they were doing outdoor workouts in a park.
It got busy after COVID because you took away the camaraderie. And then when it came back, you were like, I need it. Gimme, go in person. Yes. Agreed.
It was never this busy before COVID. And
look at the guy in the background. Watch, hold on. Well, in the background, when I say now, watch him running up the stairs. Go. Is he like running up the stairs? Like he's like just doing stair laps. I love that. Like they're taking every square inch of this. Like you stand over there, run on the treadmill. You do burpees. This guy is running stairs. I don't know if he's just leaving, if he's just late for work, or
oh no. There's sprinting up the steps as part of the workouts. Yes.
There he goes.
Yes,
Look,
there's two people. There were 2 or 3 people on the stairs. Yes.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
Do you go
So
to a bar because there's a lot of room to spread out, or do you go because there's vibe and it's busy? Would you like an empty bar that you could throw a hand grenade and not hit anybody in? That's not a bar you'd want to go to. You don't want to go to a bar that's full enough until it hits some sort of limit where you're like, this place sucks. It's packed. Right? Isn't that funny? It's like empty's no good, packed is no good. There's a sweet spot. Yogi Berra said, no one goes anywhere. No one goes there anymore. It's too full. It doesn't make any sense, which is why it's funny. Badass Academy. That gets a follow immediately.
Yeah, so I used to. Here's the thing. I'm not their ideal avatar though. Here's the interesting thing. Yeah. I love the owners. I used to work out there, but I have a home gym.
Yeah.
I would only go to the owner's private workout at 7 a.m. on Sunday mornings. And guess how many people were in the workout? Yeah. 5 to 8.
Wait. How much did that cost compared to a regular person membership with 38 people in a class?
This was actually
friends.
Free. It was like
wait. It was free. And that's cool. So they might have just been doing this because they probably just liked you, but you don't think that was rapport building as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've been sending people to the gym for years. I'll tag them on Facebook and,
they didn't need to send you a Starbucks gift card. They were just like, Dave, why don't you come and work out for it? You're cool. Come in the circle. That's it. That's marketing. That is marketing. That's marketing. That's it. Like marketing in the radio station, I was in Northeast Pennsylvania for, 10 years or whatever. So I'd been around long enough to meet random people, and people had my number. And they'd be like, when someone would email me and be like, hey man, my kid's Boy Scout troop needs to do a thing. Can we bring him to the radio station? And I was like, absolutely. And they walked in and I would slap them across the face with as much cool as I could. Their name would be on the thing behind the front desk lady. Welcome Troop 27. And Steve, the troop leader. And he was like, oh, damn. Do you think Steve spoke lovingly about the radio station? It cost me like 17 seconds worth of time. And when they walked in, I had the whole routine. We did tours with kids all the time. I had the whole routine. Hey, we're gonna go on the radio as a group. And then we're gonna go in the production studio and we're gonna make your voice sound funny. You want to make 11-year-olds think you're cool? Make them sound like they're on helium or a monster just with a couple of dials on a microphone. But understand that's marketing. None of that was on the air. We didn't record back then. We didn't really put it on social. We'd be doing that now. But that was marketing. Badass Academy. Is this one location or more than one?
I think they had one in Queens. So this is Brooklyn, but I think they had one in Queens, and it was maybe like a testing ground for a year or two. And then I guess they closed. I don't know if it was like a pop-up temporarily or something, but
I like everything about it.
One main location. There's also a second floor with like, I think it's kind of like personal training area. And then also like I don't know if you go out, I mean, it's not a big deal, but they have like the cycling classes upstairs, and those are equally as intense. If you see like hardwood floor, no, not that. That's downstairs.
Like
if you keep scrolling and
I love everything about even just looking at their page. Like
right there on the right side on the right side, right there. That's upstairs. Yeah. And these classes are intense too. And every instructor, they blast the music. The music is 11, level 11 out of 10. And there's like kind of like the group class personal training area. And
but all they're doing,
the instructors are yelling over the music. That's 11 out of 10 at volume.
The instructors are 13. If you want to be this person, like Badass Academy gets it. Just show me the people in progress. But those are the people doing. People don't want to go to the gym. They want to have gone to the gym, right? But we understand I got to go to the gym to earn the have gone to the gym. I mean, my friend Megan Brown has a Pilates clinic in Alexandria, Virginia. So like not the easiest zip code to have a business, like anything, and stay afloat. Brilliant though. She also has a personality sort of like mine and yours, which is like, I'm just gonna be friends with everybody. So like, she'd be like Pilates at 10 and then biscuits and mimosas at 11 right across the street. And what do you think the biscuits and mimosa place across the street would say about her? Like, you understand who's who in the zoo, man. Like, Badass Academy gets it. Like even without clicking on any of their content and playing the video or opening it, it just all looks rubber floors, exposed brick, people during the ergo ski workout and the bikes and the bit. Oh, got it. People like us. This is, yes, Seth Godin would get, got it. People like us do things like this, and they figured that out. Chris Doe is the last person. Oh no, Gary V. Gary V would, what do you think Gary V would do? What do you think Gary V would say if you want to turn a $10,000 client into a $70,000 client? What is Gary V famous?
Video? I don't know.
Make them a star. You want a client? Make the client the star. Like that's what I try to explain to like APTA academies and chapters and sections and now businesses. I was talking to a business owner last night. I won't say who it was. And he was like, we're sort of stuck because we have 2 people on staff doing our social media and they're great and they have energy. He said, the problem is they see a trend and they're like, ooh, we can copy this trend. So they do. So that gets some views, but no patience. Because it's cute, but it doesn't lead me anywhere. So if you track it, which is what a good business owner would do, where does this lead me? Does this help me? It's views are a beauty pageant metric. What does it lead me to? Understand, here's the understanding. If you're a business, an academy, a section, you're the stage. Put your ideal customer on it, and other people who want to be like them will see it and go, oh, you're the transformation machine. That's what a clinic is. You're the booth that Superman steps into, and then out that Clark Kent steps into, and out comes Superman. You're the stage. Don't be when I say don't be Luke Skywalker, be Yoda. Be I'll put this in my slide deck. Be the phone booth. That might be more. The PT is the Yoda. The clinic is the phone booth that Superman steps into. I keep saying Clark Kent steps into, Superman steps out of. So Gary Vee would say, shoot the heck out of everything that great patient is doing. Pump their ego up with permission, of course. Pump them up, and then other people see that as I'm using a lot of comic book reference. They'll see that as a bat signal. Oh, this place turns people like me into people like I want to be. Why is my camera out of focus? Right. So Gary Vee would say, turn the clinic into a content engine. How much money do you think it would cost to get Gary Vee to show up to Tony's clinic? A lot of money. It'd be great. What about Gary Vee's cousin Steve?
Probably $50K. He'd probably charge like $25
what would
to
Gary
$50K.
Vee's cousin Steve cost? How is that a little less? Finally, Chris Doe. Are you familiar with Chris Doe? I talk about him sometimes.
Yeah, the YouTuber.
Yeah, he's called The Future on YouTube. He's a graphic designer, but is all about value. He would say, don't sell sell outcome programs, not visits. Sell the transformation. Yeah. One of his most viral videos is someone like arguing with him a little bit about, well, how much would it cost for you to design a logo for me? And Chris was like, what's the logo supposed to do? He's like, well, it doesn't matter. And he's like, it does matter. The price matters. If I design a logo for a coffee shop down the street from me, the logo is going to cost X. If I design a movie poster for Paramount Pictures for the next Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie, it's going to cost a lot more than X. Even if the time is different, even if it takes me, if I can, and so Chris is pushed, the guy's like, well, you're going to do this logo in 15 minutes and you're going to charge me $10,000. And he goes, so you value time. Like he literally just comes back with him as a chess move. So you value time? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, then I'll take 3 weeks to do the logo. I'll design it in 15
right.
minutes. I'll deliver to you in 3 weeks. Are you pissed that I'm doing this? And this is such an alignment with PT, graphic design and PT. If I can get you better in 3 hours, I make less money if you're an insurance-based clinic. This sucks, right? And insurance people know this for years, and it sucks. They're right. If I get you better in 3 hours, and the guy down the street takes 12 hours, they get paid more. What the?
Well, and by the way, there are some practices now selling in not even packages, but some will call it either like a program or a protocol. But basically the transformation, right? So if I say, Jimmy, you've had this, you've had this knee injury for so long it doesn't allow you to play with your friends with ice hockey, doesn't allow you to play ice hockey, and it's $4,500, and within that it's whatever, it's up to, I don't know, 15 or 24 visits or whatever. But if you get better in like 10 visits,
bank them.
Then you could bank those visits. Yeah, you could give them away, or yeah, you could just not use them. And because the main focus of it, the main point of everything was you got back to playing men's league ice hockey, not about me trading time for dollars and for all these and tracking every single visit.
I was thinking about this the other day, and it sounds subtle when we split hairs, but Rory Sutherland would agree, I think, agree with at least me thinking about this. The difference between a program and a package. A package is exciting when it's wrapped. I mean, you've been 9 and you're like, oh my God, under the tree. What is this? This could be, I asked for 48 things. I hope it's the thing I wanted the most. As soon as you unwrap it, and it is or it isn't, the value drops. As soon as you drive the car off the lot, the value drops. That's a package. A program's a journey. A trip to Nepal is something you carry with you forever, but a new Bose set of headset is a thing. I know it seems subtle. I'd rather sell the trip to Nepal, the experience. So sell the program. That's selling more of what Chris Do is saying, the outcome, and not the 12 visits, 12 hours worth of my time. I'm like, I still need to ask a question. What the hell does that get me? Does that get me back on the ice? Halfway there? That's ambiguity, and confused people don't. They don't buy. They don't show back up. They don't continue. Confused people don't. So those are all the strategies from Chris Voss, Rory Sutherland, Seth Godin, Gary Vee, Chris Do. Different strategies, same goal, in my opinion. Turn the transactional patient into a long-term relationship. You're big though. This is the last question I'll ask, and this would be good for when Tony does return. Is it's probably good to start asking certain questions that will lead to figuring out who this person is you're big on the very first phone call. You're like, I want to say no to you, or I want you to say no to me. If this isn't right, I don't want to even start the engine.
We're recording these calls. We're doing game tape reviews of these calls. We're hitting a ton of questions, not even objection handling, objection handling at the end of the call, but it's objection prevention questions during the call.
What do you mean?
Let me pull it up. I won't screen share it, but
the fact that you have a list, I would love to ask, and you can answer anonymously if you want. A lot of people, I bet you their script is hello. That's not script.
Let me just, I know we're at the end, real quick. I'll just rip through a couple of these. What happens if you wait another 3 months? If nothing changes, where do you see this in 6 months? What would you need to be different this time? So this is like if you got burned by a previous healthcare provider, a previous treatment didn't work.
Yep.
We would ask, what would you need to be different this time for you to feel confident? If you went to a previous healthcare provider, back pain, and your back pain keeps coming back, Jimmy, if you're being honest, did that in-network physical therapy actually solve the problem long term? And it's like, no, because you're calling us about your back pain. If you could solve that, Jimmy, if you could solve this properly and not have this return, how important is that compared to just using your insurance?
This is a whole episode. Like, I almost want you to just stop.
Yeah. I'll stop. I have a big list. Now, these are, and there's spousal questions. Hey, Jimmy, are you the only one making this decision, or would it be someone else? Because later, if we say, hey, it's a transformation package that's $4,000 or $5,000, then you're like, well, I got to go speak to my spouse about it. We already hit it.
That's smart. You're diffusing the landmine before you even walk towards the landmine. This would be a whole episode. Okay, so what would be the prompt for the episode? Like the 10, we got to keep it limited, right? How many questions are on that list? Ballpark 10?
No, there's more than 10. Our calls, when we speak, it's a question.
Like it's a decision tree. It's like if they answer this, go that way.
It's a decision tree, and it's not us describing. We're going to do this. We're going to do this technique. You might need this. You might need.
That's about you. You want it to be about me, the person calling. Right. So we'll figure out the prompt, but it'll be like, if these 10 questions, I'll bring 10, you bring 10, Tony brings 10, and then we'll shake them out and we'll talk about why we do it and what it leads. Because just having a question on there is nice, but what does it lead to? Great. When they answer this, it's like just prescribing an exercise is nice. Great. What is the purpose of that? What is the purpose of asking that question in that way at that time? The order of the questions, very important. Would you like to go out for dinner, or would you like to marry me? If you reverse the order, you have a red flag, not a date. The order of the questions, my friends, is very important. All right, we'll do that next time. Parting shot, Dave, what do you got?
Oh, man. I almost clicked out of the StreamYard just now. I was closing tabs. I almost clicked.
Before we get to parting shot, this might be the best
Go.
sponsor we have. The visual, I think you're going to agree. Let's hear it for TheraBand Cannon, resistance training from across the room. Today's show is sponsored by the TheraBand Cannon, the fastest way to distribute resistance bands in modern rehab. Just load the chamber, pull the lever, and launch therapeutic resistance directly at your patients. Great.
Yes. So you know how there's people that get hurt, and it's not funny.
Oh,
People have serious eye injuries when TheraBands rip and break.
That's why we also every one of these comes with goggles.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because now with the TheraBand Cannon, now actually we're going to know when it's going to hit us in the face, as opposed to being surprised. This should not be a surprise. It's coming out of the cannon.
This is great for group classes, crowded clinics, or when the band rack is just too far away. Just get the cannon. With adjustable tension settings from beginner beige to oh no blue, the TheraBand Cannon, because walking across the clinic is wasted revenue. Think about it like that. If you could just shoot the TheraBand at them, that's way better.
Best use case would be you catch your clients on their phone instead of doing their program.
It's a red band.
And that gets their attention, get them back doing their drills and their exercises, whatever they need to do.
All right. What's your parting shot? Give me a mic drop.
Parting shot is taking a step back and looking at who are your ideal clients, patients. Could you be offering more? It's not even like, for us, of course, financially, it's like more of the wallet share. I mean, there's like different ways to consider it, but who is your ideal client? What are their, like you said, avatar labels? How do they identify? What do they identify as? If you speak to those and get them back to those goals, or show them that you understand them, first of all, and that you have the capability to help them kind of figuratively grab their hand and like take them along this road, or take them over the bridge to the transformation, that the outcome that they want. Maybe you'll find that it'll be a lot easier for folks to say yes to more of your packages, programs, ongoing wellness, out of pocket, all that.
Because it's clear. My parting shot would be understand that your clinic is the phone booth that Clark Kent walks into and Superman walks out of. Be the phone booth. Don't try to be Superman. If you're Superman, I don't know where I fit in this story. Am I Lois Lane? Am I Jimmy Olsen with the camera? That'd be cool. I'd be Jimmy Olsen. But you're the phone book. Be the place where the transformation happens. Be the Yoda that helps the hero do that. It sounds dumb and all woozy. It's not. We're back on Tuesday. We'll break into those question lists. All right, Dave, get out there and ask some questions.
That's it. We're out.
Boys, what the hell are you doing?
Follow Tony Maritano on YouTube at Total Therapy Solution. Find Dave Kittle at ConciergePainRelief.com and on YouTube at The Dave Kittle Show. And follow Jimmy McKay at PT Pinecast on YouTube, the socials, and wherever you binge podcasts you pretend are for CEUs. And hey, just a reminder, none of this was for advice. This was for entertainment only. Our lawyers say that counts. Thanks, Keith.